STAKK Nation, welcome back to the channel.
Champions!
Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel. There we go. Alright, now I know that it's over here. Today we're going to be talking about BRICS. The BRICS group, okay? The BRICS group of emerging economies. This consists of Brazil, India, China, and South Africa.
Russia.
Okay. And Russia as well, right? This emerging group of economies has the potential to reshape the global economy.
Potential.
As it is appearing, right? We're going to be discussing the origins of BRICS, their economic significance, and the challenges that they will face or are facing right now. And of course, the role which they will play in evolving the international economic landscape as we know it. Everything from trade partnerships, which we already see are already being realigned at this point in time.
Too fast.
Right? It is moving too fast. Sanjay type activity. So we'll discuss the collective influence of these emerging economies and how they are challenging the dominance of the traditional economic powers as we know it. So
Traditional economic powers.
yes, traditional
Petrodollars.
3-letter people. We know what I'll do. Double up.
Champions,
Let's
man.
talk about the origin and the economic significance of these people.
I can't wait. BRICS. Man, they got tired of getting their neck being stepped on by the petrodollar. Like, yo, man, we cannot survive. We need to get together. So 5 major emerging economies at the time, this is way in the early 2000s, by the way,
Right.
came together and said, you know what? We have the population, we have the land size, and we have the economic output. As a matter of fact, your mango that you had yesterday is coming from my land. Why can't I get a break? So they say, you know what? Let's get together. Let's create a forum where we can promote internal corporations within themselves,
Absolutely.
develop each other's countries, create some economic growth, not just for the countries, but for the people that live within those economies. And guess what just happened recently?
What's that?
These babies are growing. They added 6 new countries.
Growing.
Yes.
Like, how do they say? Amoeba. Is it amoeba?
Amoeba.
Amoeba.
Yes, that's
Listen,
what
man,
biology
The
class.
last time I was in biology, it was a long time ago. Yes. So we see that they've added some new people in here. So we see the expansion of the group is part of his plan to build dominance and reshape the global governance into a multipolar world.
So you go from getting your next step done to now getting some dominance? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, who does not want dominance? We all want to win as human beings. So we see Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates seem to be some of the new members of the BRICS nations. We've also seen that their activities as well, especially for areas like the United Arab Emirates, have been transitioning into alternative sources of revenue for their nation.
Not just oil.
Right? Mostly around tourism.
Yep.
In fact, we saw Saudi Arabia recently take on Formula One alternative sources because they know that their competitors, or at least their customers, are moving towards renewable energy and will depend less on them over time.
They also just took over soccer, football.
Yes, they also did that as well.
Ronaldo is there now, right?
Right, exactly. So it seems that the key points then here, right, to look at is the economic growth. Collectively, we can see that this BRICS nations, as it stands, account for a significant portion of the global GDP, and this has the potential to keep growing. Over the past few years, they've been showing this continuous upward trend.
Yep.
Right, and of course, with some of the conflicts that are going on in Africa right now, it seems that it's only inspiring others to want to participate.
Yep.
Now, the second key point that we want to look at here as well is the population power. With a combined population of over 3 billion people, right, and of course, probably counting, given that the African demographic is extremely,
Can't stop us.
right? The BRICS countries have a vast and diverse workforce. This is for sure. We know that in some nations, the average age now is middle age, and that does not bode well for their
Competitors.
their future competitive advantages.
Yep.
Right. And of course, there's going to be challenges for economic development as we go, because these countries are in different stages. And of course, there's also the political standpoint where they have different forms of leadership. We're going to be talking about that more when we come to the challenges.
Yeah.
But another key point to point out here that holds these BRIC nations together is their richness in resources. You see, most of the resources that we consume in the world today comes from one of these nations, mentioned here in the BRICS, situation. And they possess an abundant amount of natural resources, contributing to their economic growth and that power to trade, to influence global trade. Let's talk about some of the challenges here, Double O.
And this is when paying attention, educating yourself becomes critical.
Absolutely.
Because the mass media will tell you the dollar can never be overtaken, right? But this is nothing against America. This is against just understanding what's going on around you globally.
Yeah.
These people are slowly capturing the entire continent. Your food, your electronics, your tools that you use, your medicine comes from either one of these BRICS nations. But guess what, though? It's not as easy as you guys think it is. The BRICS also have, or the BRICS Plus in this case, also have some unique challenges. One of it is the diverse economies. You have China, which is difficult to trust. We don't really know what's going on in China, but we know there's a lot going on. They're still recovering from COVID. There's a lot of natural disaster. There's fake fiat, just like we have fake fiat everywhere else.
Evergrande.
Yeah. There's corruption, just like we have corruption here in the States as well.
I don't know if China's corruption can be compared to the United States corruption.
Oh, but if they catch you, man, they kill you.
Exactly. It's one dictatorship with no, there's no exposure. At least in the United States, we can sit here and call the president names and try to argue against it.
Please don't do that in China.
Over there, it does not seem like that is something that is allowed.
Nope.
So, yeah.
And that right there stands out, because then you have diverse politics.
Yeah.
So the way things are done in Russia, although Russia and China does not really get together, but for some reason with BRICS they can get together and do stuff. We have India and China that literally go to war with each other every other month.
Yeah.
But they're still in BRICS, working together, fighting each other on innovation. Of course, then you have infrastructure and development. They're all pouring money into Africa right now.
Yeah.
So that's also another challenge, But they're starting to showcase the potential that they can overcome this. How is that possible? India just settled its first international oil trade with their own personal rupees without using the petrodollar. So if India can do that with Saudi Arabia, what does this mean for the petrodollar?
Absolutely.
So can they overcome these challenges? This is some of the questions you got to start asking.
There's that saying, my enemy's enemy is my enemy's friend.
Ooh.
Of my friend's enemy.
You made that one up.
That's probably why they're able to work together, because they have a common enemy.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, I know you've spoken about the geopolitical impact there, the investments and things like that. Now, let's look at the future economic, or at least the future outlook for these BRICS nations, right? There is the idea of a massive shift in economic power. We've heard many financial gurus, experts, champions, etc., as however they want to call themselves these days, mention that the US dollar is going to lose its power as the global...
It's dominance. Let's
Yes, it's
what's
dominance.
powerful here?
It's dominance. Yeah, it's going to lose its dominance. It's going to lose its dominance, right?
And some say it's never possible. It can never happen.
Well, I think it can continue to go.
Yep.
As long as people do not educate themselves. It can continue to go as long as we allow for a central fractional reserve banking system that operates the way it currently does, right? It could have stopped in 2008, but it didn't.
Oh.
It could have stopped, or it could have not been done at all in the 70s.
Oh, 1970.
Right, but it was done. So it was something that was man-made. And a lot of times when you discuss it these days, people talk about it like it's something that is impossible to remove. This is not nature. Okay? Yes, it's going to be inconvenient for us to transition, but they say you have to go through the tough shit to get to the good shit. Right? Collaboration and competitiveness. You see, the BRICS collective strength lies in cooperation, right? But they also compete in various sectors, like you were saying.
Yep.
Right? China and India are collaborating on some things, and at the same time, they are also at war. I think that there needs to be some sort of an alliance. We also know that their governing systems are very different.
Very,
right?
very
and
different.
So how does that bode for all these nations that are trying to be under the BRICS environment? Because ultimately, it seems that it comes down to one thing, which is the one thing that we talk about all the time, and it's your money under one centralized entity controlled by a minority who are superior.
But in this case, you have multiple centralized entities
Yes.
still controlling your money.
Well, once you come under this BRICS umbrella, these people that run BRICS, these people that attend the meetings, become that centralized entity, it seems to me, because it would seem that to me they'll be incentivized to align themselves in such a way that you become the product, as always.
Yep.
When it comes to innovation and technology, embracing innovation and technology will be critical for these nations.
Yep.
We know that in many cases, some of these countries see innovation as a threat.
Yep.
Jack Ma, need I say more?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure, India is going through that right now too.
Exactly, right? So there has to be, and I think America's approach in this situation has been superior.
That's what makes us unique.
Exactly. Letting innovation flow and then leveraging the private sector to hit them anytime. It's interesting, but it works. Now, there is a third option. And this third option is one that, at this point in time, I say that anyone who considers themselves a financial educator, a freedom educator, right? Or a financial advisor. I think that there's differences between these people, right? I think financial advisors come with a certification or something like that.
They've gone through the fiat standard of learning.
What does Stephen Graham go? What does he fall under?
That guy just copy and paste.
Okay. What does the other guy, the old guy? How can I forget his name? He's one of my favorite people too.
Oh, we've not been dealing with fiat lately. That's why
This will be filed already. Anyway, any of these fiat people, right? We talk about finances, but ignore hard money. Ignore money with limited supply. Ignore the most sophisticated and most true ledger known to man. You must look at yourself in the mirror. Why do these people ignore Bitcoin? Talk to us, Tabula.
Yep. The reason why is because there is education and there is also being trained through your entire life to think a certain way. Right? And we all have to go through it. But when you start self-educating, you start understanding more about BRICS. You start understanding more about geopolitics. You also start understanding about what really is money. And we, over here at STAKK, have come to the conclusion that this geopolitics or these challenges that the BRICS nation are going to be facing could actually be resolved. The egos and the challenges can be resolved through an innovative solution that is not centralized, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency that holds the promise of transcending any traditional financial system. So what you're running away from with the fiat system, you can actually solve that with Bitcoin.
Break it down for the people. When you say Bitcoin is decentralized digital currency, that can transcend what now?
Transcend traditional financial system.
Okay.
Transcend the SWIFT system.
This means that if you have a bank, you can operate on Bitcoin as your own bank without the banks being involved.
At the beginning, we said that they were stepping on their neck. That's why they put the BRICS together. How were they stepping on their neck?
That's a strong point. So I just want to slow back down here, because this stuff you're saying right now is really whipping me with an epiphany. What you're saying is that BRICS, all these people, were engaged in a centralized system before.
Yes.
And this centralized system beat them.
They whooped them.
And they do not like it.
Sanctions.
So they decided that, wait, we need to decentralize the way we engage in financial transactions.
Champions.
So now they went and started their own thing.
Another
Another centralized thing somewhere else. Meanwhile, there is a thing called Bitcoin where they could be on it as one.
Yep.
And it will be decentralized for everyone.
Problem solved.
It will provide economic access for the whole globe, essentially.
They can't shut them down.
Please,
they cannot be sanctioned.
Please keep telling us more. It sounds like an interesting something. I wonder if BRICS will consider this.
Yeah, this is for them to listen.
Yeah.
Economic autonomy. What do I mean by that? India just went and traded with Saudi Arabia using India rupee. Who's losing? We don't know, but they came up with a deal. But do you know that you can have a win-win situation with Bitcoin? Borderless trade facilitation. No need for any tools or SWIFT or anything. It's just the country's wallet versus the other country's wallet, transaction made.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
This reminds me, talking about exchange rates, you said BRICS has said that 55 BRICS equals $1.
It's coming November 1st, I think.
How did they come up with this exchange rate?
Well, they are trying to bite back. So the formula for that 55 to 1, nobody knows yet. But that means that your pineapples, your apples, your oranges that is coming from Brazil or Argentina will now have to be exchanged for 55 to 1, which means that if you were spending $1 to buy 2 oranges, which probably is too cheap right now, you'll be multiplying that by 55. So that will be $55.
It's interesting. We have to look more into that. Because we know the price, when we talk about, when you want to find the value of something, there's this price discovery situation, right?
Yes.
Where the market kind of goes back and forth. They kind of come to this point where everyone's like, we think this one is worth more.
Yeah.
All right.
But what causes that is the play around that the central bankers do with interest rates. It could also be the demand and supply where there's just way too much demand, not enough supply, so the price goes up.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin does not deal with that type of markets. It's only 21 million Bitcoins out there. Yeah. The price is what the price is.
Okay. Well, listen, we're just going to hit you here with some bullet points of the advantages of going with Bitcoin in such a situation. And I think that if BRICS would consider this, it could definitely be a game changer. Decentralization. We know Bitcoin operates on a decentralized blockchain technology, on a decentralized blockchain, right? Well, Bitcoin is a decentralized blockchain. Jeez, throwing myself up.
Yep.
We know that Bitcoin is a decentralized blockchain, eliminating the need for a single point of failure or controlling authority, if you will. This means that we eliminate the concerns about policies, right, or policy domination by any single nation, if you will.
Geopolitics.
Economic autonomy.
Yep.
From a national standpoint and individually, that economic sovereignty, right? So we also know that this thing can facilitate trade. Bitcoin is borderless in nature. There is no need for multiple days for settlement. It is instant and final settlement on the Bitcoin network, right? So we're streamlining these payments across borders amongst any country, BRICS or not, right? You can definitely do that, and it will be all the same. Protection against inflation itself. We have seen what is happening with how the Federal Reserve operates, right? The ability of these people to print money with or without your vote.
Imagine the Chinese Federal Reserve increase interest rates, which would then impact the Indian currency because of they are working as partners to trade. So no matter what within your partnership or the BRICS messes up, it impacts everybody else. How about you exit the old central banking approach and just work on Bitcoin? Problem solved.
Right. Of course, we know that there's a lot of there's a transparency aspect that comes with Bitcoin, the ability to audit all transactions. Okay.
Then you can fix the old issue of China making up numbers.
Exactly. Financial inclusion, reduce independence on or reduce dependence on the global reserve currencies, and of course the technology and innovation itself. Bitcoin is a catalyst for innovation. We've already seen this happening. Embracing Bitcoin could stimulate technology, and fintech innovation
Hey.
in BRICS. Listen, it's already happening in the United
Yes,
States.
sir. You have Bitcoin, everything, man. You can
Okay.
you can do anything on Bitcoin that you can do in the current financial system.
It cannot be stopped.
Nope.
It is here. All right. It's a matter of whether you're going to accept it or not. I mean, even if you accept it or not, I think at some point in time, it's almost like asking yourself, am I going to drink water today or not? Right now, you can drink water because you have alternative sources. But how would this continue to go? But of course, this does not come without its disadvantages.
Of course.
There are some concerns. One of them being volatility.
Amen. Price action. As long as your Bitcoin is on exchanges and you have BlackRock with his Aladdin app, and Coinbase and what's his name, Binance,
Yeah.
playing around with your Bitcoin and creating derivatives and futures trading. The actual Bitcoin price is challenged, but the technology of being able to transact is still there. So price action versus the technology and the innovation are two different things. So that is one big challenge or issue right there, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When it comes to volatility as well, another thing that I hear people say all the time is like, well, if you send me Bitcoin and Bitcoin is dropping, then I'm going to be losing value. Yes, we recognize this. But I would like to invite you to pull up a chart of the dollar since 1970. Let me know what direction that is heading in.
How about you put up the price of gold?
Exactly.
And tell me where that is.
Yeah, I mean, pick any fiat currency, right, and look at the trend of it over the past however many years. You see that it's all heading in one direction, and that is down. Regulatory consistency and global acceptance.
Yeah, I think that's one funny one because they are trying, the current centralized systems, the central bankers are trying to regulate a commodity that should not be regulated. But they figure, hey, they want control of this new money. And they figure, hey, in my country, I regulate it this way. In your country, you regulate it that way. That is one challenge that Bitcoin will face when it's adopted by BRICS.
I think the challenge is just going to be if you're going into fiat, on ramps, off ramps. Because as long as we're transacting on that blockchain, I think these people are going to have to think harder. That's for sure.
Yeah. So get enough Bitcoin to fiat, dealing with the taxation and everything will be the challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what we know for sure right now. Bitcoin's decentralized nature and the potential for economic resilience. Well, as it's already proving that it has this potential for economic resilience and technological innovation, hold the promise of offering, whether it's BRICS nations and other countries, an alternative solutions to address their policy, economic, and governance differences. Okay? As these nations continue to assert their influence on the global stage, right? Bitcoin's unique attributes could provide a common, how would you call it? Common ground, Abby, for collaboration and economic empowerment.
That is transparent.
Yes.
That is open.
Yes, for everyone. This will be reshaping traditional paradigms and fostering new opportunities for growth. I think we can see this growth already happening. When we look at it, people like Michael Saylor and some of the things they're working on.
This reminds me of the early days of the internet. The countries that adopted the internet the fastest and the earliest were the one that got the most boom, even after the dot-com crash.
Absolutely. Listen, challenges are still ahead, but
there is a solution.
There's definitely a solution. That's for sure. It's a new system. And I know a lot of times people would say, oh, well, this is, wishful thinking. We're not saying that the current system is going to disappear overnight.
Actually, we don't want it to disappear.
Yes, we don't want it to disappear. But we're saying that we know that it's broken.
Yep.
And so we should start working on the next one. Because the next one will not just show up one day when the current one stops working.
Yep.
Okay. Any final thoughts on this one here, sir?
BRICS economy. Do not sleep on it. As for America, it's our opportunity to see a solution before the BRICS see the solution. If we ignore the Bitcoin solution and the BRICS take advantage of it, that is when we talk about the petrodollar disappearing. It's going to happen. So it's now a matter of who jumps on the wagon first.
Well, we wait and see. This is like watching soap opera.
I hate those things, man.
Did you watch that Spanish one called Marima?
Oh, I did.
Marima. If you know that one, comment down below. You're a real OG if you know that one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends. We are also on X, formerly known as Twitter, when it used to be owned by some losers. But you know, Elon is on there now. You can follow us there. Give us ideas of videos you would like to see. We're definitely going to talk about it. We are also live on Mondays, 9 a.m. on this channel and the Gentlemen of Crypto channel. Join us. Let's chit chat. You might even want to roast us. You will not win that battle. Spotify is also there. Please follow us there. We are STAKK. Really appreciate everyone watching. It's very incredible to be doing this. Until next time, praise and out.